Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the bitterly cold conditions that are now pushing southwards, and it's going to encompass the whole of the British Isles through this evening. Unlikely for many areas to get much above 1 or 2 degrees throughout the rest of this upcoming working week, before it is looking likely to turn slightly milder as we head into next weekend. But for the time being, we've got very cold conditions around for all, and we have got the risk of heavy disruptive snow, especially the further northwards you go. There are other areas that are starting to crop up, and we'll highlight those throughout the rest of the video. We'll have a look at the latest weather warnings, as they have been substantially changed today. Warnings issued all the way out to Thursday now, and I do think even then we could see more upgrades, potentially even amber warnings issued, especially around that Wednesday, Thursday time. So we'll have a look at those, and then we'll go through the latest from the high resolution short range charts, the UKV, Icon, and the Arpege, and we'll have a look at some of the long range charts as well, because of course it is looking like it's going to turn slightly milder into next weekend. But what does the rest of January have in store? Because this sort of blocking pattern that we're seeing at the moment, causing this bitterly cold spell, isn't going to disappear completely, and it does mean that as we head through the rest of January into early February, there is quite a high chance that we see a return to blocking and potentially colder weather. So we'll have a look at that as well. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in description. Now, you can see at the moment that snow showers are starting to pack in for much of northern Scotland. They're not even that light, they are actually getting quite beefy now, and falling as snow to low-lying areas, even towards coasts as well. So some areas, especially in this northern and western part of Scotland, could get absolutely buried this week. Some of the models are forecasting 40 to 50 centimetres of snow, and widely across Scotland we could be seeing 5 to 10 centimetres come the middle to end of the week. Further southwards, it is still cold out there at the moment, but we are just about sweeping away those slightly milder upper air temperatures, and you can see a few showers popping up. Most of these rain at the moment, but a few have got some wintry flavour to them. As they do clear through the rest of this afternoon and evening, the bitterly cold air will be in, and you can see the bitterly cold air is pretty much on the border of northern England and Scotland now, and starting to push into Northern Ireland. It's just going to progressively sink southwards over the course of the rest of this afternoon and evening. Now, do put on those 2-metre temperatures, it's around 3:30, and you can see further southwards a few hints of yellow, indicating temperatures in the mid to high single digits for some. Doesn't feel like that for most, as it is still pretty chilly, but these yellows will not be seen again until at least next weekend. The lighter blues, indicating temperatures close to freezing, are going to dominate for the foreseeable future, and you can already see for much of Scotland the temperature is down close to freezing, if not below freezing, meaning we are seeing those heavy snow showers come in, and they will start to readily settle over the coming hours. Now, if we do go over to the weather warnings, we have got numerous warnings issued over the coming week. Now, we had a look at these warnings in detail yesterday, so we won't go through them in too much detail, the ones that have been issued prior to today, but of course we will still highlight them. So you can see we have got a wind warning issued for the Shetland Islands. Here, though, does expire, though, pretty shortly, so again, still will be gusty, but warning now about to be over. We've got another warning that was issued on Friday, that is for the full 24 hours of today, for snow showers for northern Scotland, as we aren't expecting the heaviest snow to reach further southwards or into parts of northern England or Northern Ireland until probably tomorrow morning. So warnings only issued for the north of Scotland here, but we could even see 3 to 5 centimetres in some place even by tomorrow morning. Now into Monday, we start to see more extensive warnings. We've got a widespread warning for much of northern Scotland, again for the full 24 hours. Frequent snow showers are likely to cause disruption. Again, this was issued on Friday, and again 2 to 5 centimetres expected in many places, and could see 10 centimetres in a few areas as well. Northern Ireland warning issued from 3 a.m. tomorrow all the way to 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Again, it has been extended today to move that warning time to later into Tuesday. Again, up to 5 centimetres of snow is quite likely over some of the higher ground. Again, it is going to be all dependent on shower amounts, because of course, coming in straight from a northerly wind, where showers do band up, could see more than 5 centimetres, but if you are in a band of showers, you could see little to minimal snow at all. So it is going to be very variable indeed. Into Tuesday, we start to see those warnings widen a bit as we do see the risk of heavier, more widespread snow as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, as we see a bit of a frontal system start to move in. Again, it's this low pressure system we've been highlighting for many days that could bring the risk of a bit of rain, maybe ice and sleet in places, but still will give a lot of heavy snow as we do see slightly warmer upper air temperatures mix into the bitterly cold air. So we've still got that snow and ice warning issued for much of Northern Ireland there, and then we've got this snow and ice warning issued for the whole of Scotland, much of Northern England into North Wales. Again, it's for the full 24 hours of Tuesday, and you can see it's for further snow showers, perhaps merging into a longer spell of snow, likely to cause further disruption on Tuesday. Again, we're looking at snow showers feeding inland early on Tuesday across northern and western Scotland, parts of Wales and northwest England, where we could see 2 to 5 centimetres of snow. But you can see during the day an area of more organised rain, sleet and snow is likely to move east with further showers following. There is some uncertainty still to the track of this, but we could see some rain mixing initially, but there could be 5 to 10 centimetres, perhaps as much as 20 centimetres in some areas. If we look at the warning impacts matrix, you can see it is moderate impact or medium impact and low likelihood, and this is why I said there is quite a chance that we could see an amber warning issued for this, as we are looking still many days away, and there is a lot of scope for this to be upgraded. So yes, for this area for Tuesday, Wednesday, there is quite a decent chance that somewhere does see an amber warning, but we're still going to have to wait another day or two for the models to agree exactly the typing of the precipitation and the intensities in the different locations, and that will give us a good indication of where we could see 5, 10 or even 20 centimetres of snow. As we head into Wednesday, we still got a widespread snow warning now, but issued more for coastal areas, as we are still going to see a lot of beefy showers, but you can see that the wind direction is going to slightly alter. As that low pressure system moves through Tuesday into Wednesday, it is going to veer the wind to a more of a northwesterly, which is why the warning is now extended for parts of northwest England, northern and southwestern Wales here. So we are going to see that wind direction alter slightly, and this is issued for the full 24 hours of Wednesday and for the full 24 hours of Thursday. Again, 2 to 5 centimetres of snow is expected in many places. They could even see 10 centimetres, and over northern Scotland, 20 centimetres could build up. Again, it's difficult to say whether the Met Office expect 20 centimetres on the ground in northern Scotland or an additional 20 centimetres, because that is going to make a big difference, because some of these areas across northern Scotland, we could be seeing constant snow showers for the next 4 or 5 days. So 20 centimetres is a pretty, what I'd say is on the lower end of what we could be expecting in some of these areas. Again, it is medium impact but very low likelihood. So there is, again, scope for amber warnings, especially if we do see substantial snowfall for the early part of the week. It could raise those impact and likelihood levels. But again, that'll be something that does get altered nearer the time. And then finally into Thursday, we still have that warning issued. So you can see a substantial change in the warning today, increasing that risk of heavy disruptive snow. Again, areas outside of this yellow warning could still see snow, could still be affected. As ever, we do see lots of surprises, but these are the main areas that have got a high chance at this stage of having impactful snowfall. Now, if you go over to the UK view, we'll be able to see that there are going to be areas of snow elsewhere, just very uncertain, differences between different models, and of course it is going to be very difficult to say exactly how things will play out, because of course when we're looking at rain, things like that, a few showers here or there dropping 5 millimeters or so, it's no really bats an eyelid. If you've got some outdoor plans, of course it might affect you, but for most, some people don't even notice it's raining. But when there's snow involved, there could be issues on the roads, disruption, things like that. Even a few showers that are not forecasted, or even a few showers that band up together to form a spell of snow, a bit of a streamer setup, then we could see the impacts go from very low to minimal to potentially very disruptive in a very short space of time. So if you're looking at this at the moment and you don't think you're going to be affected at all, there probably is a low chance of you being affected, but it's not zero at all. So do progress through this afternoon into the evening, you can see lots of showers starting to pack in for northern Scotland and then progressively into Northern Ireland as we spread through into Monday morning. Showers could start to affect parts of North Wales there and even into southwest England and then for parts of East Anglia perhaps as well, drifting inland through Monday morning into the afternoon. Snow showers will continue to pack in for most, but if you're down the spine of the country, especially towards southern England, then it's probably going to be really sunny, but bitterly cold, as the temperatures are unlikely to rise much above freezing through tomorrow afternoon. As we head into the evening, you see cloud and showers start to build more out in the North Atlantic, and this is this disturbance that's moving in. Initially, it could bring a bit of rain to low-lying areas as the dew points do just jump up a little bit, the upper air temperatures jump up a little bit, but for most, it is heavy snow, especially over higher ground, pushing in for much of Scotland and northern England, and it could be really disruptive through Tuesday into Wednesday. And then we've got to keep our eyes on this system further south, which you can see a big band of rain and snow heading northwards. This has caused some immense headaches over the past couple of days. About 5 days ago, this was heading into central England, 40-50 centimetres shown by some models. Then it slowly trended southwards and was going through central France about a day ago, but now it's trending northwards again. And as I'll show you in the second half of the video, even some runs like the GFS actually bring quite a significant band of snow in as this does move northwards. So again, it is going to be something we need to keep an eye on. No warnings issued at this stage, because still some runs, some quite prominent runs like the Eastern WF, keep it all in the Channel or Northern France, no impact at all. But it is something to keep an eye on. Now the UKV here does keep it just offshore into northern France and eventually does completely clear it away. Elsewhere, further northwards, showers continue to pack in and could drift further inland, especially through Thursday as that wind direction changes to a more of a northwesterly, and the showers just continue into Friday, for eventually we start to see a bit of a lull in those showers as pressure starts to rise, as we do see a ridge build over the top of us ahead of the approaching low that is going to be arriving into the weekend. That could bring some transient snow, but mostly it's just going to turn us milder once again. If you look at the max temperatures, you can see for the afternoon it was 5 to 7 degrees further southwards, still chilly, round average to maybe slightly below average, but overnight temperatures are going to plummet widely down towards the freezing mark, if not down to -3, -4, -5, and by tomorrow afternoon, not going to get much above freezing for many, maybe 0 to 2 degrees at best, but for many, especially further northwards, you are not going to get much above freezing at all. Into Tuesday, temperatures overnight are going to be bitterly cold. No matter where you are, it is going to be below freezing. We're looking at -3, -4 degrees, even in central southern England there. Absolutely frigid indeed. And of course, where we have snow cover, it's going to be even colder than that. Maybe 2 to 4 degrees on Tuesday. Again, I do think the models overdo the temperatures slightly by a degree or so, as again, it is going to be bitterly cold with those upper air temperatures. Into Wednesday, it's going to be another frigid day. Temperatures overnight dropping even lower. Look at that across northern England, -10 or -11 degrees there. And then into Wednesday afternoon, again, hardly getting above freezing. And then progress into Thursday, again, frigid overnight, -4, -5 degrees quite widely. And then again, 1, 2, 3 degrees perhaps in the day. And that will be pretty similar as we head into Friday. We could even see the most severe frosts towards the latter part of the week as we do see pressure rise. So that is going to be interesting to watch as well. So yes, if you're not going to see any, some of you will not see heavy snow this week. Some of you will see very little snow at all. But for all, it is going to be absolutely freezing. Now, if you go over to the DWD icon, have a look what that is showing. That has been one of the most progressive runs with the risk of snow as we progress into Tuesday and Wednesday for southern areas. But I do suspect that the latest 12 o'clock run has trended southwards again. So very much up and down. So you can see snow showers packing in over the coming hours and more heavy snow for northern areas as we progress through Tuesday, going to be very disruptive in places. And then you can see that low approaching the south but staying in northern France. I'll show you in a minute the earlier runs, which did give some big hope for potentially some widespread snow. But you can see those showers continue into the latter part of the week before high pressure eventually builds in. If you go back to the midnight run, you can see that snow heading up from southern England, and it does give quite a widespread covering there across much of southern and southeastern England. If we look at the snow depth, you can see that there is substantial snow, 5 to 10 centimetres there for the London area, down towards Sussex, Surrey, Kent. Intense amounts of snowfall there, as it's going to be very high snow rates within that snow band. But as we saw, the models are all over the place with the tracking of this. And again, 50, 100 miles makes all the difference between 5 to 10 centimetres of snow or the snow all the way in the Channel or over northern France. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on this. At the moment, the most likely scenario is it tracks in the Channel or northern France, but there still is a small risk that it does hit southern areas. If you have a look at the arpège, again, showers continue to push through over the coming hours, and then as we progress into Tuesday and Wednesday, we see that heavier snow approach from the west could be really disruptive as we head through Tuesday in the daytime, and then we see that low approach from the south, perhaps just clipping the southwest there, maybe just clipping the south coast, but it is going to be extremely marginal whether that does push in or not. Of course, the models can be wrong. They can even be wrong in the sort of couple-hour time frame. The system could be 50 miles further northwards. So it is going to be one of those where we're not going to know exactly what is going to happen until that weather front is on our shores or just to the south of us. We will not know exactly how it will progress. So it is going to be one we're going to have to keep an eye on. Some areas could still see some heavier snow from this, but the likelihood is reasonably low at this stage. Now, if we do go over to have a look at the longer range, if we start on the latest GFS, again, we'll run through the short range within this quite quickly, as we all know what's going to be happening this week. Northerly winds pushing in, turning bitterly cold, and then we see that low track to our south, trying to give us heavier snow toward the middle of the week for England and Wales, but not pushing in too much. We see that ridge of high pressure toppling by Thursday, Friday, and then westerly winds approach for the weekend into the start of next week. Now, it does look like it is going to be a westerly onslaught here, but the GFS already showing signs towards the end of its run of the tropospheric polar vortex splitting once again and seeing blocking starting to appear. So that is something we've got to keep a close eye on. This is one of the first runs that is starting to show that in the extended range. Again, it's not producing anything too out of this world, but just starting to show those hints. And that could mean that cold weather could return as we head towards the end of the month and maybe even the start of February. Also, I wanted to just briefly go through the precipitation charts of some of these longer range runs just to see the northerly track of that low pressure system pushing through northern France. Now, here the latest GFS is just about clips southern England, so not quite in getting far inland, but you can see the heaviest snow there is just across northern France into Belgium, just about perhaps with its outer bands of the weather front clipping southeast England. So it could be one of those where so close but so far at the same time. Again, we will have to keep a very close eye on this. If you look at the latest GM, again, northeasterly winds pushing in, bitterly cold through the rest of the week, high pressure topples towards the latter part of the week, and then eventually westerly winds push in, and it actually goes pretty mild and potentially even stormy there as we see some really big areas of low pressure starting to gather in the North Atlantic. So it goes from very cold to potentially very mild, wet and windy within the space of 48 hours or so there. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that as well, as we could see some disruption from some storm systems come come next weekend and the following week. Again, if we look at the precipitation charts from this GEM run, again, plenty of snow showers pushing in, and you can see that really heavy snow there for Scotland through Tuesday and Wednesday. But the thing I wanted to really look at is that southerly low, again, just about pushing into Kent. Some really heavy snow there just to the south of London, into Kent and Sussex and Surrey again. We'll have to keep a very close eye on it, because it could dump locally 5 to 10 centimetres in a very small area. So again, all depends on the track of this low and the track of the weather front. At this stage, I will say most likely going to be in the Channel, but we've still got hope from some of these runs. And finally, if we look at the ECMWF, again, northerly winds pushing in, turning very cold, and then eventually the westerly winds do break through, and in the longer range, very similar to the other runs, with generally a westerly flow looking relatively stormy. And then again, just to compare to the precipitation charts, the Eastern WF has had that low very far south over the past couple of days. But you can see heavy snow for the northern areas for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that low tracking, and again, being in the Channel, maybe its outer bands just clipping the southeast of England. So it has trended northwards in the past day, but not trended northwards enough to smash parts of southern England. Again, if we just put on the precipitation chart, the snow depth, just to show you what sort of snow we could be seeing from this, you can see across parts of northern France there, we're seeing 20 to 30 centimetres of snow. That could have come to southern England if this was 50 to 100 miles further northwards. But of course, we will have to see exactly how it does play out. Those sort of corrections, that sort of uncertainty does exist, and we will just have to see if the models do shift this low anymore. They have been moving around a lot in the past 24 hours, or at least a lot when it comes to sort of the 3 or 4 day time frame. But we'll have to see exactly how it does play out. If we finally finish by looking at the latest ensembles, you can see the very cold conditions over the next week. Still, you can see these big precipitation charts for London. That is runs still getting that precipitation into the south. So again, still a third, maybe even a half of ensemble members here getting rain or snow, most likely snow, into London. So again, lots of uncertainty still remains. It's nowhere near. We've nowhere near got enough confidence for me to say there's a chance of heavy snow, but it's a very small risk. And if we did see all the models get on board with it, then we could start to have a look at it in detail. But again, I don't want to talk about it too much because I do feel like I'll be overhyping something that most likely wouldn't happen. You see the longer range though, it does turn wet and windy for a time before we do see those upper air temperatures stay around the average or slightly above average, but interestingly, precipitation starts to fall, which indicates higher pressure could be starting to build in. And again, that could be the route to the next area of blocking and potentially colder weather. Again, if we look at the short term, you can see still a few runs producing snow, even about 50% there producing snow for London, some very minimal, but you can see one there even producing 20 plus centimetres of snow, and that's across 2 periods, so that would be an overall amount of about 40 centimetres. That is if that full low pressure system pushed northwards. So you can see 1 out of 30 runs here has the centre of that weather front across London, so it is highly unlikely. But it still shows you that there were a few runs producing significant snow, about 5 or 6 here out of 30. So you could say a 10 or 20% chance, just looking at the raw ensemble members here. But you can see there is a good 50% chance that at least a bit of wintriness does scrape southern areas. As you can see here, there are quite a few that show traces to as much as 2 or 3 centimetres of snow, which we do say normally is a little bit of a dusting to perhaps minor accumulations. Anything above 5 to 10 centimetres, that's starting to get towards significant, potentially disruptive levels. Whereas, as I said, for this area, it looks pretty unlikely. If we look at the 2 metre temperatures, basically cold for the rest of the week before turning milder, and the dew points also indicating how cold and dry it's going to be. But if we do look further northwards, look at Glasgow, for example, it is going to be frigid, and we are going to see lots of heavy snow. Again, there is uncertainty exactly how much we will see with that low pressure system moving in. Higher ground's always going to be more favoured because there is a little bit of milder air mixing in. But regardless, lots of areas could see significant snow, as I said, towards the latter part of the week. And if we finish by looking at the ECMWF ensembles, again, they are a lot more pessimistic with the track of that low showing minimal to no precipitation at all come Tuesday, Wednesday time. But you can see they are in agreement that it is going to be turning milder, above average, with plenty of precipitation around. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Make sure you stay safe out there this week. It is going to be very snowy in places, but if you don't see snow, it is going to be bitterly cold. So do stay safe out there, especially with ice around, frost around. It is going to be dangerous, so do stay safe and do keep up to date with the warnings, because things can change at very short notice and can change very, very quickly. And of course, I do suspect we will see more upgrades to the warnings, perhaps, as I said, even an amber warning issued for Northern England and Scotland as we see that area of snow move in for Tuesday. So as I said, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.